Welcome to the Beyond the Ears podcast, a podcast about all things Disney.
You are listening to episode number 10. Today we're going to be doing a movie review for Lightyear, which just released for us today. This was our son's first movie experience in a theater. So it was kind of a hallmark moment for us.
Yeah, and it's episode number 10, so
yeah,
double whammy.
We're making progress here. So this is your spoiler alert. There will be spoilers in this podcast. I would hope that would be obvious, but just so everyone is on the same page, spoilers.
Yeah, very heavy spoilers for the movie.
Okay, so do we want to get started with just like a very basic plot and then kind of talk about our thoughts on everything?
Yeah, let's do that first. I'll let you go first.
Okay, so to be fair, we saw the movie one time in the theater with our 2.5-year-old son. So there were a couple of parts where we were, somewhat distracted. But overall, I think I get the gist. So the movie starts out with Buzz and his partner and best friend, Alicia Hawthorne. They're basically on a mission to explore the planet Ticana Prime, just to see if it's like a habitable planet. So while they're exploring this planet, they very quickly realize that it is not a safe place. It's a hostile planet. Mm-hmm. And so they try to escape. And when they try to escape, Buzz basically crashes the ship, and the two of them and everyone who is on board the ship, which is like a whole civilization of people, gets stranded on this hostile planet.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the foundation of the movie. It's 4.2 million light years away from Earth. So in order to get back to Earth, they're going to need to use light speed. So in the crash, their like fuel source to get them to light speed was damaged.
Yeah.
And they don't have like a backup or anything.
It's a crystal.
Yeah, it's like some sort of energy fuel source.
Yeah. Which he references in the second Toy Story movie, by the way.
I'm sure there's a lot of Easter eggs that I missed.
Yeah. So
we'll definitely have to do a rewatch very shortly, with just probably you and me. That we can take notes or whatever. Okay, so they're stranded on the hostile planet without a source of energy to get them to light speed so they can go back home. And so basically they're trying to discover ways to create this energy fuel source to get them up to light speed. And Buzz is going to be the test pilot for that. So
the main reason he wants to be the test pilot is he felt that he's the one that marooned them on the planet because he crashed the ship.
Right.
The turnip is what they call it.
Yeah. It's like this round turnip shaped ship.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the big ball that you see in the trailers. It looks like the Epcot space ball.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so he is going to be the test pilot on their first mission to space to test the light speed and the fuel source. And so basically he has to slingshot around the sun and then come back, and he has 4 minutes to do so to test the light speed. His first trip, I think he makes it to like 80% power before the fuel source
burns out
basically. I don't know the terminology to use. And he almost like gets deserted in space.
Yeah.
But he has to use his instincts. He basically blows up the fuel source just in time to shoot him back on the right course and get him back to the Ticana Prime planet. When he arrives there, it has been 4 years.
Yeah.
And he handled it pretty well. He was like kind of initially shocked, but he like moved straight on to the mission. What did they say was the reason for
time dilation?
Okay, so time dilation because of the hyperspeeds, basically.
Yeah.
So
4 minutes for him is 4 years on the planet.
And that changes based on how fast into hyperspeed he goes.
Yeah.
So 4 years go by, and Buzz is extremely determined to get everyone home. And so this part was crazy to me. And I was not expecting it to be this way, because in the trailer we saw like a huge time leap where he lost 62 years. But in the movie, it's in 4-year increments, because he keeps trying and he keeps trying and he keeps trying to modify this fuel source to where it's going to be able to hit light speed and get everybody home. So he does this so many times.
Or, I'm sorry, 10 times, because it goes
62 years.
Well, it goes 10 times because she celebrated her, Alicia, celebrated her 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
So it at least happened 10 times. For him, it's 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And for everyone else, it's 40 years.
Yeah, it wasn't clear if he just went, if it was like a 10-day period, or if there were like weeks in between where he was trying to work on the fuel cell.
Yeah.
That wasn't clear, but I don't think it's really essential to the plot of the movie. They didn't really have time.
Yeah.
Or the movie would have been like 3 hours to really elaborate on that.
Yeah, it could have been a like extremely long movie if they went into like major detail.
Yeah.
An example like for this movie would be like Interstellar. It's a very Interstellar type of movie.
Yeah. There were a lot of parallels between this movie and other really famous movies, Star Wars.
Interstellar. That's a movie.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
I know it's a movie. I was just saying like
gotcha.
other movies.
Yeah.
It parallels to as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like the Star Wars jumping in the hyperspeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So like we said, he jumps so many times. It has been 62 years. And every time he comes back, it's been roughly 4 years. And we get to see his best friend, Alicia, basically progress with her life, but in 4-year increments. So she meets a woman, falls in love, gets engaged, and Buzz is like, you're going to get engaged to a woman you just met? But for her, it had been 3 years since she met her, and he was gone. For him, those 4 minutes, but for them, it was 4 years. So she gets engaged, and then the next time she's married and pregnant, and then the next time they have a young child, and then eventually that child is grown, and then eventually has his own children. And so that was so depressing to me.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to be an emotional movie at all. But huge spoiler alert. One of the last times that he jumps or tests it out, he comes back and Alicia is dead.
Yeah.
From old age, basically, and she leaves him a video message. Oh my gosh. Like, so he would go to her room every time he would come back to see her and to see what had changed. And then this last time he goes to her room and it's completely empty, except there's a desk. And on that desk, there's this little piece of technology that basically plays a message. And on that message is kind of like in Star Wars, how they...
Like a little holocron.
Yeah, a little holograph or whatever. And it's her basically in a hospital bed, I would assume. And she basically just says, you won't be back for another couple of years, but I won't be here. And I literally could cry right now, even talking about it. If Grayson wasn't in there and if I wasn't like focusing on him a little bit, I definitely would have been like full blown crying at that point. I was trying to hold it together because your mom was next to me. Yeah. But that was so tragic.
And Grayson looked at you and was like, "It's you, Mom." to the old lady in the bed.
Any female figure, he relates to me most of the time.
It's you, Mom.
It's you, Mom. He did so well, by the way. He sat for about an hour and 20 minutes of the movie, and then he got pretty darn antsy for the last like 20-25 minutes, but overall pretty impressive for a toddler.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at the part in the movie where she's dead. He gets the message from her, and then he basically finds out that he is no longer allowed to do these missions because everyone who's on this planet has decided they're fine to live there.
Yeah.
They've made a home of it. They've colonized over the past 60 years, and they're good. So they're fine. Yeah. They're going to build like a shield to keep out all of the crazy insects that are on this planet. And they're just going to live here, and they're all fine with it.
Yep. The next, we're missing one of the key characters.
Yes.
Here. Socks.
Yes. So Socks is his cat. You want to talk about the cat?
So on his first trip into hyperspace, the first time, he gets back and they pretty much make this companion robot, I guess, to ease him back into like what's happened over the past 4 years. And
he's supposed to be like a mental health, like a kind of like a therapist cat.
Yeah.
Always asking him how he's doing and how he's feeling and what he's thinking.
Mm-hmm. It's hilarious. The cat itself has so many like laugh out loud moments.
Yeah,
it is hilarious.
The cat like surprisingly became, I think, my favorite character.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah.
Which is shocking for me.
Yeah, he is hilarious. Man, how many times can I say he is hilarious?
It was really good. Really good comedy from the cat. So we're at the point where he has been told that he can no longer travel.
Mm-hmm.
But his cat, Socks, has figured out the exact science for the perfect fuel source that is going to get him to light speed.
Yeah. But it's funny, too, because it
took him 62 years to figure it out.
Because Buzz told him on the second go-round, he said, Socks said, "Can I do anything for you, Buzz?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can figure out this light speed crystal for me." And like as like a kind of like a one line, like, "Yeah, try to figure it out, cat." Yeah. But he eventually figures it out, which is funny.
I loved that. So yeah, he figures it out. They have to try to escape. I guess we're just going to hit the high points so that we can talk more about our thoughts on the movie. So they basically have to escape because they're not supposed to go on this mission. They end up shooting off into space and hitting light speed. And when they come back, it had been 22 years since last time.
Yeah.
And then he gets to meet Alicia's granddaughter, Izzy.
Yep. And she says that she's like, "Hey, you got to come over here." They're like hiding. It's a very like covert operation once he lands. And he doesn't know what's happening. He doesn't know how long he had been gone. Mm-hmm. Izzy says, "We have to go over here to this base because we're being attacked by robots." And I don't know if they call them robots or Zergbots.
I can't remember.
But those robots are attacking the turnip, the whole space bubble area that they've made, the colonization. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty much a ragtag team of people that they have to put together. It's, 3 people, including... So it's like, it's Buzz, it's Izzy.
It's Socks, the cat. Mo Morrison, which is voiced by Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Who does Korg.
Yeah, and the director of Thor.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Darby, which Darby was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
So she's an older lady, really short, and loves guns. She reminded me so much of Sarah Connor, like old Sarah Connor from the newest Terminator.
Yeah.
You know how she was like always got the biggest gun and was just so badass. That is Darby.
Yeah.
So she was hilarious, I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he comes together with this team. They're basically rookies, kind of misfits. Darby, for example, is on parole. She's not supposed to handle weapons. Mo thought it was going to be some sort of like CrossFit training exercise situation where he was just going to learn how to be cool.
Yeah, it's like the National Guard, where they'd like come in on the weekends kind of thing.
Yeah, so he had different expectations, and he was about to quit and be done with it, and then all of this happened.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have Izzy Hawthorne, which is Alicia's granddaughter. Okay, so where are we at?
From there, it's like a lot of trial and error. Buzz is trying to like somewhat train these guys, but at the same time not get them killed because he wants to do this mission by himself. And the whole key to the movie is that Buzz thinks he can do everything, from trying to leave the planet the first time to doing every spaceship or every trip around the sun that goes, shoots him forward in time. He thinks he can do it to fix it and to get him back home. Well, like the whole movie is based on that. Buzz needs a team.
Mm-hmm.
So this pretty much the 90% of the movie, it's him saying, I can do it by myself. I can do it by myself.
Yeah.
So he tries to get them back to go. He tries to get them to go back to their like base.
Mm-hmm.
And Buzz is trying to do his own thing, trying to get to the Zurg spaceship to blow it up so the robots stop attacking the colonization.
And they pretty much get themselves into a situation where they have to save themselves several times because of something Mo, who's kind of clumsy.
Yeah.
He hits a button, or I mean most of the time he hits a button.
Their stealth suit goes out.
Yeah, with his elbow. I mean.
Yeah. So that it's multiple like hiccups on the team's part. Buzz finally gets captured by Zurg.
Mm-hmm.
Gets taken into the Zurg spaceship.
Yep.
And then we find out Zurg is Buzz from the far-flung future, which was crazy because I did not expect that. Because I was thinking it was going to be his dad.
Yeah.
And he said, Dad? And it reminded me of Toy Story 2, where he's like, Father? No! That's all I can think of whenever he said that. And he's like, no, it's me from the future. And I was like, oh, shit, this is interesting.
It was, and he had the same cat.
Yep.
He had been kind of through the ringer. He had, like...
Oh, yeah, he's like...
Skin
missing. Around his eye. He had, like, one eye and then, like, one Terminator eye.
Yeah.
And, the other Buzz said that... And I don't know how this works. I don't know if it's timelines or that was the tricky part.
I know. I was so not confused necessarily, but I'm like, is this the multiverse? Because we just watched Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And how could two Buzzes be in the same timeline? So I have no idea what is going on with that. I didn't have a lot of time obviously to think about it because at this point in the movie Grayson started to get kind of wiggly, and we were all slightly distracted by that.
So from what the Buzz slash Zurg, we're just gonna call him Zurg,
okay,
so what Zurg said was that when he flew on the X-15, which is the spaceship, because each time Buzz takes off he gets in a new spaceship, which I guess would make sense. So every time he gets a new spaceship, like it's like a new era, kind of thing. So they're in the X-15, and he said whenever like Buzz landed back on the planet when the robots attacked, it was like similar to that moment, but the commander attacked Buzz.
Yeah. So
instead of Buzz like fleeing out of the ship, he just took off back into space and used the Lightspeed engine to go like as far forward into space as he could. So he went like thousands of years into the future, he said.
And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but he basically said that instead of jumping forward in time, you can jump back.
Yeah.
Was that right?
Yeah,
and so
that's what he did.
He's basically wanting to undo everything that had happened, right?
Yeah. Which, when he jumped back in time, he jumped back to the point where they're at now.
Oh, okay.
It's because they said the spaceship just showed up.
Interesting.
So, maybe... I don't know.
So
maybe instead of... Oh man, it gets trippy. You'd have to like write it out to figure it out, like how the time and space. I'm sure there'll be other YouTubers that figure this out. I'm assuming new rock stars. They're like Eric Voss, that guy. He like maps out everything. I'm sure they'll figure it out, but anyway, it's just Buzz from the future. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that this version of Buzz clearly has worked by himself for all of these years. He never found his team like our Buzz did.
Yeah.
Other than the cat, which turns against him and shoots a dart out of its mouth.
Yeah.
And kind of knocks him out so that our Buzz can kind of escape out of that situation. But this Buzz, Zurg, has been in solitude for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Since
he's old. He's very old.
I mean,
like, very withered old man. Buzz.
30, 40, 50 years by himself, probably.
So Buzz and Zurg end up fighting. And they have these little pods that the bad robots on the planet were using these pods to like
send them back to the home ship.
Yeah. So they use these pods, they defeat Zurg. They use these pods to get back to their ship that's on the Zurg ship. And then they escape and they blow up the ship.
Yeah.
But Buzz gets on he gets in one of the other man, it's a lot of spaceships at this moment.
Yeah.
The team is in a spaceship, the Armadillo is what they called it.
Yeah.
And then he climbs in, he puts a crystal in one of the X-15 spaceships. Gets in, turns it on, and then the other Zurg starts attacking him.
Yeah.
Gets the crystal spaceship, and then Buzz ejects, and we get like the iconic Buzz Lightyear.
Oh my gosh. That was such an epic moment. And unfortunately, like Grayson at that point had completely checked out. But if we had started the movie right in that spot, he would have just flipped.
Yeah.
Because it was so iconic.
Yeah, it was super cool.
He's got the wings out. He's flying. He's doing the Buzz Lightyear pose.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
It was super cool. So Buzz, and like I like how they integrated the laser. Like the laser in the movie isn't like the Toy Story 2 Buzz laser where it's like a laser pointer.
Yeah.
So in the movie it's like a strap, like a strap arm piece.
Yeah.
And he shoots it with like a little, I mean he still uses his finger to shoot it, but it's not like an actual laser.
I just realized we didn't even say the very beginning plot point of this movie to tie it into the Toy Story movies.
What?
And that is that this is the movie
that
Andy
saw in
1995 as a child that inspired him to buy the Buzz Lightyear toy.
Yeah.
And that's why we have all of the Toy Story movies. So sorry we missed that plot point kind of from the get-go, but that's how like the whole premise of this is the movie that he saw. But anyway, laser pointer strapped onto his arm.
Yep.
He loses it a couple times.
Yeah, he loses it. He does. Yeah. But so he's like wielding this laser pointer or laser gun and rocking his wings. The other ship that the other teammates are in is like flying back down to space or back down to the planet.
Yeah.
And Buzz like flies down and gets in front of it to try to stop it. Oh, I failed to mention that he shot the crystallic
the fuel source,
and it blew up. Zurg pulled it out of the ship, and Buzz shot it, and it killed. Technically, or
it blew up.
It blew up, and knocked Zurg back. And I don't know if it knocked him back in time or if it just knocked him back like light years away. It didn't really like specify.
Yeah,
because you just see the flash, and then like Buzz goes one way, and then Zurg goes the other way, like super fast. It's like, poof. So I kind of assume that it knocked him back like a couple, like light years away or something.
Interesting.
But then Buzz pretty much tries to save the Armadillo ship with all the other people in it in socks. So he gets in front and uses like his little wings and his thrusters to keep him on a steady course, and then they end up landing the armadillo.
Yeah, and then they are welcomed home, and Buzz is offered. What did they say they were gonna do?
Gonna restart the Space Ranger program.
Okay, and he's basically gonna be in charge and have full unlimited resources for that program. He can use whatever he wants, but he wants to use his team.
Yep.
That he kind of created in this movie.
Yeah, super cool.
And yeah,
and in the end, he gets like the whole team gets the iconic like, this is what Andy played with as a toy.
Yeah,
like
the suit.
The suits at the end are like a 1-to-1 of what you see as a toy.
That's one thing this movie did super well. I mean, among other things, is the suit is so cool.
Yeah.
And it's like a perfect mixture of like what you want it to be, but what it is in the Toy Story movies. So cool.
Yeah. So like they actually get a laser on the arm built into the suit. The wing packs are definitely there. They just didn't obviously use them because they weren't like flying, but they are there. And what else was there? He got the ejector button is like the actual wingsuit button at the end, and not the sacrifice button, which was hilarious. What else was there? And the suit just looked like more neon green, because his original Space Ranger suit was like a darker, like toned down green, and these were like super shiny, super like bright,
crisp.
Yeah. And like the spaceship they get in looks like the spaceship that he got as a toy, or Andy got as a toy. And like the backpack that Bonnie has, that's the Space Ranger backpack. It looked just like the ship. So, I mean, there are so many Easter eggs, but they obviously save the day, and the movie sets it up for a second movie pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure. So there are post-credit scenes.
There's 3 of them, and the only reason we know the first 2, because it was weird, whenever our movie started seeding, it was still playing the credits of the last movie.
Yeah.
So we got the end credit scene for
before the movie.
Yeah, 2 of them actually.
Yeah.
So you always have like a mid-credit scene, which comes after like the fancy graphic credits,
main actor names and stuff.
Yeah. And all that is the colonel that is like in charge of Buzz now, or the commander.
Yeah.
It's him sitting in an office chair, and like in the background you can see their like laser grid over the colonization, and a bug runs into it and it like zaps it, and he's like, haha, laser grid. And then it like cuts to the actual credits. But the end of the credits is one of the robots that we see earlier in the movie, and he's trying to give directions to where this other space camp is on the planet.
Yeah.
Or another outpost. And it was pretty funny because we walk in there and like, what is happening?
Yeah, I feel like the theater, something was going on where I don't know if they were just understaffed, which in this job climate is probably the case, because when he walked in, like Josh said, it was still playing the credits of the movie. And then after the credits were done, it was just a blank screen and the lights were off
for like 15 minutes
until the movie started. No previews, nothing. It was so weird, and it was so dark in there, like nobody could find a seat.
Yeah.
And then we had a little mishap with when they started the movie. It started to play in 3D.
Yeah. So we thought, oh, great. How are we going to keep glasses on our 2-year-old?
Well, the glasses are so huge, and he's a little kid.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like, oh my God. Like, we didn't know it was 3D. And then we put the glasses on him, and he wore them, but they were huge on him. They were like falling off.
Yeah.
And then another guy came in and explained that there was another mix-up, but we're going to watch the 2D version of the movie, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
So it was just a little bit
chaotic
at the beginning, and it was kind of weird. not having previews or anything and not being able to find your seat. The screen was just black. I mean, normal movie theaters typically play some sort of like, even if it's just like advertisements for the movie theater.
Before we get into the weeds, we need to talk about the third post-credit scene because people are probably like, what's the last one?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the last one, and like you have to wait until the screen goes black. So like the end credit scene happens where he's talking, and then it goes through like the Disney like startup where the castle shows, and it zooms out, and then you see the Pixar logo, and he's like bouncing around along on the eye. Then the light turns off, and then like 2 seconds later, it's like a pretty good pause. It shows empty space, and it shows Zurg just floating out in space, and his eyes and his mouth light up. I was like, oh, sweet. So, well, we know Zurg's in this movie, obviously.
Yep. And
I was like, well, I automatically knew, like, what sets us up for a second movie.
Yeah. So, let's talk about our thoughts on the movie.
Okay. I'll let you go first.
Okay. So I probably need to see it again to form like a true, review of it, but I can give you a couple high points. So first of all, I was not expecting all of those years to pass in increments and for him to choose to continue going back. Mm-hmm. That broke my heart as a human. Like in the trailer, it made it seem like he just skipped 60 years and he missed that. But in the movie, it's 4-year increments, and every single time he makes that choice to leave everyone behind because the mission is the most important thing. And he's missing everyone's life. He has friends, his best friend. He misses everything.
Yep.
So I wasn't expecting that to be the plot point, and I wasn't expecting it to be emotional at all. I thought the socks, the cat.
Yeah.
When you watch the trailer, I was like, oh God, this cat's going to be annoying. Wasn't annoying at all. Great comic relief. I thought the cat was really funny, and I laughed every single time something happened with the cat that was supposed to be funny. I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
I loved Buzz. I mean, I think we kind of came full circle with him and like his character development, but it did suck to see him make that decision to miss 4 years of everyone's life again and again and again and again. It's like, when is enough? So that was sad. And then overall, I do feel like it did have some slight pacing issues because it took us a really long time to get like to the real action part of the film. Mm-hmm. Like it took like an hour and 15 minutes to get to where we're like dealing with a Zurg really.
Yeah.
At all. And then it was kind of like short and sweet as far as the action-packed escape scenes and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been like 10 or 15 minutes longer, and then it would have been more balanced, because we took that whole part where he's like traveling back, or he's, missing 4 years, and then he's missing 4 years. I liked that. Like that was really interesting to watch, but it took up a huge portion of the movie. Mm-hmm. So I think it was kind of weird, not super balanced. But because they know it's probably going to be like a family friendly movie, they don't want to make it too long. Mm-hmm. I would assume, so kids can keep their attention.
Yeah. Which would make sense because Grayson was definitely losing it. Like you said, the last like 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Overall, definitely think there will be a second movie. I overall liked it. I did. I'm not super hard to please. I did like it, but it's not one that I want to watch super often.
Yeah.
Like, I think if Grayson gets obsessed with this one, I'm going to like put it on and do other things after a couple of times seeing it, because I feel like it would get old.
I get it.
What did you think?
Different opinion, obviously, for me, because I really liked the movie. And I think I could probably watch it over and over again, but it's more for the fact of like it intrigued me more than anything. I did enjoy Chris Evans as Buzz. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
And like he had the voice, like mannerisms, like on point pretty good compared to Tim Allen. And that's one thing I want to say, like if you're expecting to go see like the animated Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger movie, like that was not actually the Pixar movie. It was made by Disney and Pixar, but like not the core Toy Story movie and like the TV show. Like you're not going to get that Buzz yet in this movie where he's like a full-on Space Ranger battling galactic, like just battling like I think a lot of people are going to think like, oh, this is nothing like the Toy Story.
It's very much a character origin story.
Yes.
I think we'll probably get 3 movies.
Oh, yeah. I think we'll either get 3 movies or another movie and then like a Buzz Lightyear TV show and then another movie.
Okay.
So like a Disney Plus show. That's my kind of what I think is going to happen. I think there'll at least be a Disney Plus show about it. But at the end it says one of the end credit scenes, but right before it goes to the end credit scene it says 02 Lightyear. So I thought, oh, they're confirming Lightyear 2 right there. Like a Lightyear will return kind of moment. But back to like what I thought. I loved all the different characters that they've got. I obviously loved Socks. He was hilarious. The first scene whenever he opens up his mouth and shoots that poison dart. And he's like, I bought you 5 minutes, Buzz. Like, I laughed so hard at that scene.
That was like so shocking.
Yeah. And I thought it was great how they integrated Socks like throughout the whole movie. Like he always helped Buzz, and it was hilarious. I also enjoyed Izzy, the granddaughter, and the other characters as well, Mo and what's the other lady? Darby, yeah. I thought they were great. But I do agree with you on the pacing issues. Like there was like a scene where they're on that mining planet and they're in those red cones.
Yeah.
Like that whole scene was like super slow.
I agree. I was like kind of bored.
Yeah, and then the scene like right before that when they're getting attacked by the bugs, like that was a little slow too. The whole like the first like 10 minutes of him meeting that team was like, oh man, this is kind of boring. But it wasn't like shoot me, this is boring. It was just like this is like not keeping me like, oh, I'm interested in this.
Yeah, I think the scene where they're trapped in the red cones, I agree, like it was kind of slow, but throughout that whole scene, he eventually, like that's kind of his first step into being part of the team.
Yeah. Because
he finally like absorbs into the same cone as everyone else, and they ultimately use that to escape. If you haven't seen the movie, what I just said is going to make absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
But that scene was a turning point for his mindset in like the team.
Yeah.
But it was too slow.
Yeah. And there was just some other like really slow parts where there wasn't a lot going on.
Yeah.
But it didn't like ruin the movie for me. It was just like, man, they could be doing something else right now, or they can be focusing more on Buzz. I thought the twist of Zurg was crazy because I was expecting it to be his dad just from the Toy Story 2. And I'm just super looking forward to rewatching this movie again to get all the references or the Easter eggs. Because he says like a lot of lines like, why don't they answer? Or God, there's so many lines that he says I can't even think of them right now. But there is a lot of Easter eggs in this movie for like catchphrases for Buzz.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be like really fun to like go back and rewatch like the Toy Story movies and then go watch this movie again and see like all the references.
Yeah.
I don't want to rate it yet because I definitely need a second rewatch, like you said, without Grayson there, so we can like focus on the movie, because with Grayson, like, we're focusing on him and making sure he's having like a good time, which he was just kicked back and chilling in the chair.
Was hilarious. We got him, this was, like we said earlier, this was his first movie theater experience. We got him his own kids like snack tray, so it had popcorn and fruit snacks and a Sierra Mist soda, which he doesn't drink soda, so that was special for him. Yeah. And he sat with this little tray on his lap almost the whole, like at least half the movie, and just eating the popcorn, digging in. He put his hands behind his head and kind of leaned back. He was
like chilling back.
He was like, I'm chill. It was so great.
Yeah, he definitely had a great time. So, and it was just fun watching him and like trying to watch the movie, because you try to watch his reactions, but he was just so stone cold face the whole time, like, oh my gosh, this TV is so big.
Yeah, it's big TV.
Yeah. So, and that was one thing, like all day today, or this morning, I'd been hyping up. I'm like, we're gonna go see a movie tonight, buddy. And he just looked at me like, what? So I think he just thought like we're watching a movie at home. He didn't. Obviously, he's a toddler, so he doesn't know what's happening. But finally, I think he understand like, oh, the big TV. And I definitely think he had a great time, though.
I do, too. I think we'll definitely bring him back to see another film, maybe one that's just slightly shorter. I think you said this one was like an hour and 45 ish.
Yeah.
So maybe like an hour and a half, I think, is our cap right now for the 2.5-year-olds.
Yeah.
So maybe another kids Disney movie that comes out soon we can go see. But it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. A good experience for his first movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, buddy, you got to see this before a lot of other kids.
Yeah. And Josh bought us all matching t-shirts that say To Infinity and Beyond. They're super cute. And they've got like, I mean, it's just a cool design, Buzz's face on it. And we all matched. We took a picture to commemorate the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. Okay. You have anything else?
I'm looking forward to the second movie, because I think the second movie they can really explore the universe of like Space Rangers. Yeah.
I think it's not going to be highly rated.
I don't think it is right now. Let me check the Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be well received by critics, but I think families will love it with their kids. Definitely very family friendly movie. The whole family will enjoy it for sure.
Yeah. Right now, I mean, it's certified. Ugh. Man, I cannot say certified.
It's been a long day.
It's certified fresh right now. It's at 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
So
not too bad. Not great.
No, it's good. As long as it stays there, it'll be certified. God, I cannot say certified. Certified fresh. And then the audience score is an 88%. So everyone's loving it so far. So this box office weekend will be the big weekend of where does this movie go? Do we get a sequel kind of thing? Which I think we will.
I feel like they have been playing trailers of this movie for so long. Like, it is so hyped up.
Yeah, it's been about a year of trailers.
Yeah,
from the initial trailer, because I think it was during the Super Bowl last year.
Wow.
And then, I mean, we've just gotten like little snippets. But it also feels long because we've watched those trailers about 10,000 times.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the second movie or whatever they do with it, because, like I said, they can really explore some, like, really cool Space Ranger-y things in the future.
Yeah, definitely going to have Zurg back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think we're going to wrap it up now. It's getting late. Thank you all for listening and showing your support. We really do appreciate it. We are excited. We've still got to do a couple episodes for the podcast this week. We'll get those up shortly.
Miss Marvel episode 2 and Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 5, which both were great. And I don't even know if I don't think you've watched Miss Marvel yet, have you?
I will watch it tomorrow because I knew that we weren't going to do the podcast until Friday.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan Kenobi was freaking epic.
Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi was awesome.
All right.
But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But this podcast should be up.
I'm doing it right now.
Right now. And then it'll be on YouTube. So if you're listening, thanks for listening.
All right. Everyone have a good day.